Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we're working on my 1995 Vauxhall Cavalier. We're just going to be doing a quick video today on changing the belt and tensioner. Serpentine belt, auxiliary belt, fan belt, call it what you like. So yeah, just a quick one today, and as usual ignore any trains that come past during this video. Excuse handicap for a minute, but let's just get this started. Mileage is 58,000, as you can see there. Now, obviously be able to hear that clicking. I'm pretty certain that it's actually the tensioner that's causing us the problem. So I'm going to get the car swapped around. This has been running today, so obviously it doesn't sound as bad, and usually it clears up with some revs. So yeah, let's should be a fairly simple job hopefully, so let's carry on. So before we get started here's the part numbers. This is the X20XEV engine, as you may well, and the 2 litre 16 valve. That's the part number here for the belt, and for the tensioner they're both Gateses. I like using Gate stuff, I think they're pretty good quality. Got these from my motor factors. Expensive though, for this lot, 100 quid. So first off, let's start off by taking this air filter box out. So just undo the screw there, take that off the airflow meter, undo this air temperature sensor there, undo these coolant pipes. This is all rather self-explanatory, to be quite honest with you. Got two nuts to undo. They look like they might be an 8, maybe as much as a 10mm actually. 10mm there, and one just down here. There is another one hidden somewhere, which is kind of under here, which is a bit impossible to get to be honest, but I think I've left that loose for good reason. So we'll get those two undone. They are indeed a 10mm. It would appear that I did tighten up the awkward one after all, and that's just actually I'll bring you around. Right, to make this easier on myself, I'm going to take this pipe, this little bit of air ducting out. Just needs to be loosened off obviously. Now you can get a bit more of a view. You probably could see better than me, to be honest. I'll just move this harness out of the way, so you might be able to see it just down there. I think that's my finger just about around the vicinity just there. Yes, I can feel it. So it's not too bad to get to. I was probably over exaggerating earlier. So this is the final bolt hole down here. As you can see, it's directly opposite the front one there. So let's see about getting this belt off now. 115mm spanner, and I'm just going to go for the nut that's actually on the pulley itself. Again, apologies for more handy cam work. This is actually an automatic tensioner, so this is the 15mm bolt that I'm going for. That's your actual tensioner. That's my air conditioning pulley. You can see why I'm changing the belt. I don't think it's too bad, it's been on there a few years. It's funny because on one of the videos someone thought I had a hydraulic tappet that was making a noise. It's probably still plausible. Let's see if we can... Oh no, that's undoing the nut instead. Not good. How are we going to do this? Right, okay. So just going to get this nut, 15mm, as I think I may have said before. I'm going to turn it in a clockwise direction. It might help if you had a longer spanner than this. If we loosen that off, and we should get enough slack to actually undo, take the belt off one of the pulleys, and then we can release the tension on the tensioner. There we go. And just pull that through if we can. Have we got to undo that engine mount? This to me doesn't look like this is going to be as simple as I thought. It looks like I may have to take this engine mount off. Let's get the tensioner out, and that gives us a little bit more to have a look at. Hopefully they look like they are 13mm bolts that's holding that on there. It does indeed look like we'll have to take the engine mount just to get to this bolt here. I could probably get to it with a spanner, but I honestly think this belt ain't going to come off, or even go back on for that matter, without taking that engine mount off. So underneath the car, hopefully it ain't going to be as bad as I first thought. Got those two 15mm to undo. Hopefully that'll undo the engine mount, so I can withdraw it towards your left hand side there, and hopefully slip that out. Let's see how we get on. I've just turned the wheel around. We're going to remove this cover here. We've got a couple of 8mm there by the looks of it, and one of them funny little pop clip things. So I'm going to remove that. So in the last clip you would have seen that I was saying about you have to remove this bit of wheel arch well liner, and you really don't. I thought I was able to move this, if I can get you in screen there we go. I thought to get this engine mount off I need access to it, and I was hoping to slide it off, but you can't. You actually can undo these three 15mm nuts, and then that whole engine mount should come off all in one go. You don't have to remove any of this trim panel at all. So I've just wasted a load of time there, taking all that off and putting it back on again. So anyway, let's continue. We'll get this engine mount off next. One engine mount removed. It was a bit of a pain to get out, but you don't actually have to take it out. I just took it out just for filming purposes really. Like I said, 3 15mm bolts that goes into the engine, 2 15mm bolts that go into the body itself. The two that goes into the body are actually Loctited, so it would be sure to Loctite those afterwards. Now after all of that, we can now slip the belt off nicely. Like so. So what's next to do is get the other 13mm bolt out of this tensioner, and then we'll withdraw that. Looks like it'd be easier to get to that from the bottom. So to get at this last 13mm bolt is proving to be quite a challenge. Now the new tensioner comes with like a 6mm locking pin. I haven't obviously, can't really see where it is. I think that might be it there where it goes. But what I've decided to do is actually take off the actual pulley. It's easy enough to undo that 15mm anyway, so I'll get that off there and see if that gives us a little bit more room to get my socket in there. It's quite awkward with a spanner because you keep hitting against this and then you haven't got enough turn to, so to speak. It's loose, but I can't get enough turn on it to do any useful. So I'm actually just going to take that off and then undo it with the socket, hopefully. So with the pulley removed, we do actually have a little bit more room to work. I can see just about get my ratchet on there. So as I say, I've got that loose already, so hopefully that shouldn't be too difficult to get off now. After grit and determination and some swearing as well, finally got this tensioner off. As you can see, this is the problem. That goes on there like so, and you can see it just completely covers up that bolt, which is highly annoying. This one, you can see it's got a pin through there, so that would be much easier to put on. I could have, I suppose, got a 6mm drill bit, and you can see where it meets up. Can't even see that. I'm useless, aren't I? You can see where that hole there meets up with that when you turn it with your 15mm. So yeah, you can hear, I don't know if I'll bring it up close to the microphone here. Hopefully that comes across okay, but you can hear that there's, like, you know, the bearing's sort of gritty. I mean, to be fair, that doesn't look too bad to replace just the actual bearing if you really wanted to. There's nothing wrong with the actual tensioner. I think it's actually an original part. I'm not entirely sure. It's got the Opel logo. I recognise that logo, but I don't know what it is. I can't think what it is. The original part number, there it is there, should you need it. Yeah, I might keep this, and in the future, because these are flipping £100 just for this. I mean, you know, it's worth just changing the bearing in it, which I may well do. Yeah, you can see some of the grease just started coming out of there as it's got hot. I suppose if you really wanted to change this bearing, you could just about see there the number. So that's if I can't hardly read it myself actually, 6203LH, and it's NTN. I've not heard of NTN, but yeah, same again on the back. Yeah, 6203LH. So yeah, anyway, now that we've fought that off, it's time to put it back on. Well, that's the tensioner finally in, and I can tell you that was a bit of a pain in the backside. From underneath you can't actually see what you're doing, so you're doing everything by hand. So you have to bring it in from the bottom as well. So all I've done is just basically got it into a rough sort of position, and then try and line up one of the bolts. And once you get a bolt started, it's really not too bad. The other one is still a bit of a pain itself, but you could get it in there eventually. Just thinking what will be best to do, whether to get the belt on. I'm not going to pull the grenade pin yet on the tensioner. I'm just going to get the belt in position, I think. Get the just so as I've got it routed correctly for the engine mount to go back on. I'd like to give it a run just to prove it's plenty cold now, because it's a few hours later since when we started this about 11 and it's about just gone 1, so that just shows how much of a bit of a pig's ear it was. And I said it was going to be a nice simple job, eh? So yeah, all the pulleys feel fine. Power steering pump, the air conditioning compressor, and even the alternator sounds absolutely fine. So I'm fairly confident that this is going to be nice and quiet now. Yeah, I will give it a quick start, and you'll be able to see what it sounds like. If I leave my microphone here, you'll be able to have a listen. So that's a little bit annoying. Still got that sound there, that clicking sound. Maybe it's to do with the timing belt pulley tensioner or something like that. I wonder if it's worth taking that cover off and having a quick look. I'm here. Yeah, let's do that. So I just took the timing belt cover off. I can't make out where the noise is actually coming from. I don't think it is one of the pulleys. It may well be just the hydraulic lifter that's making a noise. This does get regular oil changes. In the past it's had, by Vauxhall actually, it's had some engine flushes, so maybe that's something we can do. Can't make it any worse, can it? Or actually, yeah, probably can. I'm going to thread this belt through now, and then we're going to get the engine mount back on and get this back together. So that's the tensioner finally in, along with the engine mount. Now it's time to pull out this grenade pin if I could get to it. So just first of all, just take the slack off of that pin there. Should be in a clockwise direction, I think. Question is, how am I going to get to it? Right, okay, let's see if we could get this pin out now. There we go. There's a damn sight more strength in that tensioner than there was the last one. Now I've got my spanner stuck. There we go. Okay then, let's go for a start. Still got the tick in there, as you can hear. My hearing ain't very good, so I do struggle to hear where it's coming from. Sounds a bit bottom end. So I've got you by the sump in a minute. Still can't really make out where it's coming from. Anywhere, I would say it's round here. This end long had an oil change, but it might be worth putting some oil flush in it. It's had it before, so I can't see it hurting. Might make it worse, but yeah. Just have to chance it. I mean, the damage is already there, right? Oh well, not the result I wanted, but we achieved something today at least. So yeah, well, more content for you for the future, I guess. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in another video.